Haskell's annual art market happened this past weekend. More of that on the way.
Two Wampanoag citizens are bringing traditional ecological knowledge to museum goers in Boston, Massachusetts. Details to come.
And a tribal radio station is facing an uncertain financial future. More on that later.
Welcome to Good Morning Indian Country. I'm Shia Blackcloud.
And I'm Allison Levering. We're coming to you live inside of our studio inside of Stauffer Flint Hall at the University of Kansas.
The University of Kansas has been awarded a 5-year, $1.5 million grant, which seeks to increase tribal sovereignty in education.
The grant funding will support the Southern Plains American Indian Teaching Pathways Project, which is a partnership program among KU's Indigenous Studies program, KU's Office of Sovereign Partnerships and Indigenous Initiatives, and the KU School of Education and Human Services, alongside multiple Native nations as well as Haskell Indian Nations University.
The Pathways Project was selected for funding by the Office of Indian Education in the U.S. Department of Education. The funds will be used to train 15 teachers in elementary, middle, and secondary education.
The project will begin by recruiting individuals who have earned an associate's degree and are seeking a teaching certificate through an additional 2 years to complete a bachelor's degree, leading to certification at HINU or KU.
The grant will provide funds for tuition, fees, and monthly living stipends, as well as funding for conference travel, laptops, tablets, and books.
And upon a graduation, the newly certified teachers will be required to work in Native serving schools, where they will also receive early career mentorship from experienced teachers and cultural leaders found in the Project Partner Network.
It was a beautiful weekend for the annual Haskell Indian Art Market. We hope you had a chance to join us in Lawrence to take in all of the amazing artists, vendors, and of course, Fry Bread Alley.
But if you didn't make it, as promised, we've got you covered. GMIC's Caden Baird shows us the sights and sounds of this year's art market.
From handmade fabrics and earrings to pottery and paintings breathing with heritage, Haskell's Indian Art Market tells a story of different lives and tribes from stall to stall. The annual market gives Indigenous artists from all over the Kansas region and beyond to not only sell their works, but to educate buyers with its origins and cultural importance.
Volcanic ash, pumice.
I love to tell the story of how the pottery came to be. It's just really fun to share with others on the process of making pottery and the tradition of it.
You could go into any artist booth here and you're going to get more knowledge than you can take in one day. I trust me on that one.
Imbued with tradition, creating these cultural pieces can be a way for an artist to connect with their roots.
We had pottery, rich traditions many years ago. And so that inspired me to become interested when I was a young adult to try and create maybe something as beautiful as what was made in the past.
By making pottery today, it helped connect me to more traditions and more of the past and more of these stories that have existed for generations.
While drawing from the past, Native artists don't shy away from the present, often adapting Native designs with modern twists. Outside of the lines gathered in front of the booths and countless fry bread pop-ups, the biggest draw was the cultural dances staged throughout the day. As the sound of the drum band and cultural songs filled the air, Native rhythmic footwork showed up on the grass. Even GMIC's very own Allison Levering joined in for a jingle dance or two. As the drum beats faded, it was clear that the event is as much as a market as it is a community for its artists.
My children have grown up here with my artist friends' children, my fellow artists. We've grown old together, if you will, and we've watched the new artists come up.
Pottery to beadwork, each artist may bring their own style, but there's a unity in Indigenous artistry.
We might all have a unique way of doing what we do, and it might come from a different region, but in the bigger picture, that creativity connects us all.
For Good Morning Indian Country, Caden Baird.
Wow, so much talent in one place. Looking at those shots makes you want to go down there and see it all firsthand. The market always brings the best artists out of Indian country to our campus.
Yes, Allison, we're hoping for another nice weekend ahead after the rain early in the week. GMIC's weather forecaster Emma Coffey is here to tell us what we can expect. Emma?
Thanks, Shia. Well, for all you fall weather lovers out there, it looks like those cooler temperatures might have finally arrived, but unfortunately they won't be here for very long. Now, Tuesday is probably the coolest temperatures that we are going to see for the remainder of this week, leading into early next week. Talking specifically about this week, partly cloudy skies the rest of the week with higher wind speeds. Our wind speeds are getting all the way up to 18 miles per hour later this weekend. Early next week, our rain showers are going to start to make an appearance once again, but for the rest of this week, a little bit of sunshine and a lot of clouds. Taking a look at Wednesday's forecast, a bit of a rise in temperature from Tuesday, high of 73 degrees, sunny skies all day long, average wind speed sitting at around 9 miles per hour, and our humidity is at a nice level 54%. Our hourly planner for Wednesday, 12 p.m., 67 degrees, so still in that nice, cool fall weather. By 2 p.m., we've raised up to 71 degrees, remaining consistent until 5 p.m. when our 71-degree weather is sticking. By 8 p.m., we've dropped back down to 62 degrees, so our temperatures between 12 p.m. and 8 p.m. are still looking pretty cool for the day. Wind speeds are matching that, 8 miles per hour at 12 p.m., remaining pretty consistent all day long, and by 8 p.m., we've only dropped down to about 5 miles per hour. Wednesday night's forecast, a low of 53 degrees, nice and cool. Some clouds throughout the night are going to make their way through Lawrence, but for the most part, mainly clear skies. Light wind speeds as well, dropping down to around 6 miles per hour, and our humidity is rising up just a little bit to 64%. Thursday's forecast is showing even more of a temperature rise, up 2 degrees to 75 degrees that day. Partly cloudy skies, so those clouds are going to start to make their way into Lawrence throughout Thursday and into the weekend. Higher wind speeds now sitting at 11 miles per hour, and our humidity is still remaining consistent at 57%. Now here in a little bit, we'll talk about the weather for KU's fall break and Indigenous Peoples Day, but for now, back to the desk.
Thanks, Emma. When we come back, we'll tell you all about the museum that is educating about Indigenous ecology.
But first, we'll take a look at the challenges facing a tribal radio station due to an uncertain financial future. Stay with us.
Good Morning Indian Country is supported by Press Forward, the nationwide initiative strengthening communities through local news.
Welcome back. WOJB Radio serves the Lakota Ray Nation in Wisconsin, but as ICT News reports, tribal radio is facing an uncertain financial future. Take a look.
And we're going to miss that greatly. 40% plus, between 40 and 45% of our funding. That's a bunch of money. Is going away.
Jeffrey Jones, host of the afternoon show, wants listeners to know how much federal funding WOJB lost due to the vote to defund the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, or CPB.
Now more than ever, we need our listeners. So again,
he's hosting a pledge drive, asking listeners to hear his heed for donations.
We have an extra week of coming to you, our listeners, to ask for your support to expand.
Carl Habeck, general manager of WOJB Woodland Community Radio, says the station needs generous support to keep Wisconsin's only tribal radio station on the airwaves.
For next year, we're going to have to look for approximately $230,000 to maintain what we have going.
WOJB received funding distributed by CPB. It was defunded in July as part of President Donald Trump's Rescission Act of 2025. The administration took back $1.1 billion in pre-allocated CPB funds, threatening the operation of 57 tribal stations across the country, like 88.9 FM in Hayward.
It kind of breaks my heart to see it, but that's what's going on in this world today, and we get the repercussions of that.
Habeck says WOJB self-generates funds through listener member donations, underwriting and leasing their radio towers.
We actually made over $250,000 last year on our own,
But Habeck says the rural radio station needs more.
We're not going to be able to make it with listener donors and underwriting together. Still not enough.
WOJB is on the Lakota Ojibwe Nation reservation. Habeck says they went on the air in 1982 out of activism amongst the Lakota Ojibwe tribal members.
The creators of the station were concerned about not having a voice and not being heard.
Boat landings where spears or fishing are packed with protesters, cops, and reporters.
In the late 80s, Habeck says WOJB educated listeners about tribal sovereignty in ceded territory during the Walleye War spearfishing controversy.
You're going to take everything that's allowed to anybody else, and that's not right.
A lot of people misunderstood or didn't care to understand the treaty, the hunting and fishing rights of the Ojibwe people in northern Wisconsin.
Welcome. Welcome to WOJB.
Thank you. And today, Habeck says listeners tune in from the North Woods and beyond. Operating at 100,000 watts, reaching nearly 100 miles in every direction.
We just barely get up to Superior, but if you get up on the hill in Duluth, we reach that far. We'll reach down, maybe as far as Amory, as far east as Easley Park Falls.
Habeck says he's hopeful that his conversations with Native Public Media, a Native American-based public broadcasting organization, will help generate funds.
I think they could come up with something significant.
As he waits for South Dakota Senator Mike Rounds to make good on his promise with the Trump administration to take $9.4 million of unused climate change money and reallocate it to certain tribal stations.
I think it included the most needy tribes. I know we made the list.
A list hasn't been made public, but Habeck says the staff and volunteers at WOJB are up to the challenge.
I'm Jeff, and it's the afternoon here on WOJB Reserve.
And opportunity.
We're broadcasting from Lakota
to keep their community programming on the airwaves.
So we're going to have to do something above and beyond to generate the funds that we need that are unconventional to what we're used to doing.
Music from Perfume Genius here on WOJB from the new one called Glory.
From the homelands of Lakota Ojibwe Tribal Nation, I'm Erica Aesi for ICT.
Thank you to ICT News for bringing us that report. Temperatures are cooling off this week. GMIC's Emma Coffey tells us if we're part of the bigger trend across Indian country. Emma?
Thanks, Allison. Well, this weekend kicks off every KU student's favorite part of the semester, fall break. Starting on Saturday, October 11th, our weather for that weekend into early next week is looking pretty good. Saturday, a high of 82 degrees, partly cloudy skies all throughout the weekend up until Monday morning when those showers are going to start to make their way into the atmosphere. High of 86 on Sunday. Our temperatures are rising back up just a little bit, but not too bad. And by Monday, we've dropped all the way back down to 81 degrees. So it seems to be pretty nice weather out there for this fall break. Now, Monday, October 13th marks Indigenous Peoples Day, and our forecast for that day is looking a little dreary. 81 degrees is the high, rain early in the morning, slowly evolving into more cloudy skies later on in the day. Right now, there's currently a 30% chance of rain, but that is always expected to change just a little bit as we get closer to that day. Humidity is going to be up at 61%, so with that rain, it's going to feel just a little bit sticky outside. Our wind speeds are 9 miles per hour, so overall, not too shabby. Taking a look now at our extended forecast for Lawrence. Like we said earlier, Wednesday high of 73 degrees, and it's only rising from there all the way until Sunday with our high being 86. Monday and Tuesday are dropping back down into our mid to low 80s. Lots of sun, lots of clouds, a pretty healthy mix throughout the week. And with that football game on Saturday, it should make for pretty nice weather. Well, that's all we have for the weather forecast this week. Back to you, Allison and Shia.
Thanks, Emma. Two Wampanoag citizens are bringing traditional ecological knowledge to museum goers in Boston, Massachusetts. ICT News reporter Stuart Huntington explains.
Amira Madison and Hartman Dietz
Natasuis Hartman, Nutamas Masipi Nim Masipi Wampanoag
are spreading the news. The pair have organized a series of events at the Boston Museum of Science highlighting indigenous knowledge and the ways it can help our world.
Western science seems constantly catching up to many things that it was very dismissive of, that Native people have known and spoken about for generations. The idea that we are all connected, that this is a single living system of a world.
Our world needs Indigenous knowledge. I think this is the time right now because of what we're seeing that's occurring across the globe, the climate crisis that we're in. And honestly, I think it's also a human crisis in a way because we have not been taking care of the land the way that we should.
A recent presentation on cultural burning to create healthy forests included panelists Talia Landry, Wallace Cleaves, Don Gentry, and Juliet Jackson. Gentry shared success stories of traditional practices in his Oregon homelands and of an awakening in the broader community.
There's a better understanding how fire's been a part of the WUFO system, and an acknowledgement that we burned, our people burned, to maintain the health of the system, to protect our communities, to stimulate plants that are important, to stimulate forage for big game. There's more of a recognition of that.
And the evidence from Klamath territory is striking. The devastating 2021 bootleg fire burned some 400,000 acres, but the trees and land tended by the tribe using traditional methods survived.
We're reclaiming and trying to move towards what made us healthy, and our ties to the land and use of those resources is critical for that.
Jackson noted a new acceptance of the old ways.
Having been born and raised and grew up in Northern California, growing up, people weren't talking about Indigenous knowledge. There was no recognition of tribes and having that knowledge.
And now?
There's a recognition of the validity of this knowledge, the sacredness of it, and it's needed and necessary. It's awesome that we were able to share our Indigenous brilliance in this space and with others.
Cleaves from Los Angeles concurred, even noting an awakening on the local level.
As I mentioned, down to our local fire companies, they're excited to learn about culture burns. They're excited to learn about this. They know, they realize that the system wasn't working. It's very obvious to them. They're in danger because of how problematic the system has become. So that's been a real change that we've witnessed, again, within the last decade, really even within the last 5 years.
We'll let the event organizers have the last words.
In the United States of America, right? We're taught that money is time. We're taught that, land is just something that you own rather than something that you care for and that you're connected to. For us as Memphana'ak, we believe that we are a part of the land. We grow from the land. Our creation stories talk about us being created from the land, our beautiful clay cliffs in Aquina. I would say that we're in a really critical time, and I think the world needs Indigenous knowledge.
We cannot continue to operate on the same system that created the problems that we're dealing with. We have to look to something new.
For ICT from the homelands of the Mashpee Wampanoag, I'm Stuart Huntington.
Thank you to ICT News for bringing us that story. After the break, GMIC's Millie Favela joins us live in studio with a roundup of sports across Indian country. Stay with us.
Thank you to the Henry Luce Foundation for their support of Good Morning Indian Country.
Welcome back to your weekly recap of sports all over Indian country. We've got a lot of sports to cover, so let's jump right in. The volleyball team from Haskell Indian Nations University had a busy week hosting opponents on home court. The team faced Cody College and fell in 3 straight sets, 25-19, 25-22, and 25-22 again. The ladies kept up with the Comets, putting up 6 blocks to Cody's 2, 31 to their 41 assists, and 65 to the Comets' 72 digs. The Lady Indians took on Sterling College at the Coffin Sports Complex on Saturday afternoon in a 5-set battle. While the Lady Indians were victorious in the first set 25-21, they fell in sets 2 and 3. The team came back to win the 4th set 25-20, but fell in the final set 12-15. 5'9" setter Jasmine Ellenwood has been recognized as the Continental Athletic Conference's Setter of the Week. Ellenwood put up 21 total assists, averaging 4.43 per set, along with 13 digs against Sterling. The junior sits at 244 total assists this season, ranking her 7th in the CAC. A player that we talked about last week has finally reached 1,000 digs this season, and it's none other than Aliana Diggin-Doogie. The libero for the Lady Indians put up 22 digs against Cotty College last Tuesday and an astounding 35 digs against Sterling College. The 5'1" sophomore still ranks #1 in the CAC and #2 in the NAIA in digs with 479 for the season. Outside hitter Tressa Jim has also broken a career record over the past week. The 5'10" junior put up 5 kills against Cotty College, bringing her to 1,000 career kills. Jim put up another 14 against Sterling College and currently ranks #1 in the CAC and #10 in the NAIA with 269 kills for the season. The Lady Indians have a busy weekend ahead of them as they head out to Winston-Salem, North Carolina to compete in the CAC Classic. First up is Carolina University at 3 p.m. on Thursday. The Lady Indians will compete in a doubleheader against the 2024 runner-up Florida National University at 1 p.m. and the reigning champions Florida College at 5 p.m. on Friday. Finally, the ladies will take on Fisher College at 5 p.m. on Saturday. The men's cross-country team from Haskell ran off with the win in the men's College Green 8K race in the Paul Short Run Classic at Lehigh University on Friday. The team was the only NAIA school that participated at the D3 NCAA level, finishing with a total time of roughly 2 hours and 12 minutes. Javen Hale's performance earned him the CAC's Runner of the Week as he finished 3rd out of 317 total runners with a time of 25 minutes and 45 seconds. The team will host the Billy Mills Classic this Saturday with the Donnie Bell Court Community 5K beginning at 5:10 p.m., the Mike Daney Women's College 5K beginning at 6 p.m., and the Jerry Tuckins Men's College 8K beginning at 6:30 p.m. The men's golf team also had a weekend in the sun as they putt against Ottawa University on Saturday. The team will head to Parkville, Missouri and take the green in the University Fall Classic next Monday and Tuesday. Well, that's all the sports I have for you this week, but make sure to stay tuned after the break for a local roundup of some local events.
Good Morning Indian Country is supported by the University of Kansas William Allen White School of Journalism and Mass Communications.
Haskell will be kicking off homecoming this week with a round dance celebration on Wednesday, October 8th. Come swing and sway the Haskell way with Haskell's Powwow Club. Invited singers include Haskell Brave, Rickson Bullcalf, Noah Yazzie, AJ Lewis, and many more. All dancers, singers, and visitors are welcome. This event will be held at 7 p.m. at the Haskell Powwow Grounds.
But before the round dance, there will be Aotearoa New Zealand Maori presentation exchange featuring the haka, a powerful traditional Maori dance and an important part of New Zealand's heritage. This event will happen on October 8th from 6 to 7 p.m. in the Haskell Auditorium and is open to the public. So come on and learn, connect, and celebrate the Maori culture through dance and storytelling.
Thanks for watching this episode of Good Morning Indian Country. Another thank you to Press Forward, the Henry Luce Foundation, and the William Allen White School of Journalism for their support of our work.
And don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Good Morning Indian Country. Stay good, Indian Country, and we will see you next week.